Resident Evil Village was scary, sure, but I think we were all expecting that on account of how it's a Resident Evil game, and the last one started with you getting your hand chainsawed off and then went downhill from there. What we weren't expecting was that Resident Evil Village was also funny. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, Capcom really ramped up the ridiculousness for Village, with the end result that this is the most we've ever laughed at a Resident Evil game. And yes, that includes 4.
I've sent my right hand to dispose of you.
Your right hand comes off?
Still a great line. Here now are the funniest moments in Resident Evil Village. Enjoy, and beware spoilers ahead for the main game and story. As mentioned, Resident Evil 7 wasn't exactly short on hand trauma, but Resident Evil Village takes the concept of hand injuries and runs with it, probably directly into some kind of hand-mincing machine.
Nothing like fresh American ground beef!
In the game's first couple of hours, Ethan cuts his hand on barbed wire, has several fingers bitten off, has his hand sliced open with a knife, has hooks driven through both hands, and has to tear himself off to escape, gets bugs under his hand skin which burst out, and just so the right hand isn't feeling left out for still being mostly intact, yes, he gets that hand completely sliced off by the tall vampire lady while trying to operate a switch.
You'll be sliced to ribbons!
I'm sorry, but this is objectively funny for several reasons. The escalation, firstly, plus the fact that the hand remains on the switch, so you have to run back and pick it up. Plus the game reminding you that your right hand is currently unavailable, and the fact that once you escape this area, Ethan sticks it back on with chem fluid, which does work, leading to this glorious bit of understatement from the E-Man.
Good.
Yes, Ethan, good. Also, the chem fluid fixes the jacket as well, which is... I mean, sure, why not? Near the end of Heisenberg's factory, you stumble across Resident Evil celebrity Chris Redfield, who has apparently been busy with a side project of his own, building a human-sized Robot Wars contestant.
What?
She's a bioweapon.
According to his laptop, this heavily beweaponed vehicle is in fact one of Heisenberg's toys that Chris is just fixing up, but the reveal that we will be heading into our next boss fight, piloting a mini bulldozer with a chainsaw mounted on the front of it is, I think we can all agree, absolutely hilarious.
Metal polymer composite, huh? Time to fight fire with fire.
Or, time to fight Heisenberg with a little tractor covered in chainsaws and guns, if you prefer. Speaking of the fight with Heisenberg, who is by this point a kind of evil transformer, he spends the whole thing taunting you. This is admittedly fair, seeing as how you're driving around in a little go-kart covered in chainsaws.
Coward! In the face of my steel glory!
Easily Heisenberg's best zinger, however, is reserved for Chris Redfield, who at one point in the fight he refers to as a boulder-punching asshole.
That boulder-punching asshole! But you're first!
Which is not only a funny line, but also implies that Chris punching a boulder in Resident Evil 5 made international news, considering that people in remotest Romania know about it. I mean, I can see why. Despite being the star of back-to-back Resident Evils, the games have gone out of their way to avoid showing Ethan Winter's face in increasingly bizarre and hilarious ways. Firstly, the pre-release images for the game had Ethan's face either in shadow or obscured by his hand or a weapon, but it starts to get absurd when you take a look through the Winters family album and Ethan's face is also obscured in his own wedding photographs. And the lengths to which the camera has to go to avoid showing Ethan's face in the final cutscenes of Resident Evil Village are amusingly awkward, especially as it means that Ethan has to spend much of the game's climactic finale staring at his shoes.
Hey, look at me!
Still, once you've finished the game, you can unlock an Ethan Winters character model to view in the bonus content section, so we should finally be able to see what Ethan looks like. Well played, Capcom. We may not know what Ethan looks like, officially, but we do know what he sounds like, hilariously weird and blunt, especially after defeating bosses. These responses range from, "No, you,"
You're the one who's cursed.
to clumsy roasts,
In death as he was in life. Disgusting.
to, I mean, I guess he was basically out of ideas at this point.
Eat
To be fair, it has been a long day. Back to Lord Heisenberg for this one, specifically the entire scene in which he tries to convince Ethan to join him, but keeps being interrupted by Sturb, the propeller-faced monster in his basement, which is very funny. A, because it's obvious how wound up Heisenberg is getting.
Look, you got this all wrong. Tell me.
Shut your f***ing hole!
Sorry about that.
And B, because it seems like Sturb actually obeys when told to quieten down, despite being a Frankenstein with the front of an airplane for a face.
Even Miranda's scared of her.
Last time, you freak! I swear to God!
Honestly, where's that odd couple-style sitcom? I'd watch it. For more of that kind of energy, look no further than the meeting of the four lords with Mother Miranda at the start of the game, which was clearly meant to have an impressive, menacing vibe, but ends up more like a bickering family trapped in a car on a long road trip.
Way ugly! I wanna see!
Everything about this scene is comedy gold, from the weird shuffling around of horror doll Angie, to Lady D getting mad, to Heisenberg telling everyone to shut up.
He's awake!
Brother, shut the up!
And then Heisenberg saying the following like it's the start of a well-known proverb.
Yak, yak, as a man's dick is cut off in the castle, blah, blah, blah.
Like, if a man's dick gets cut off in a castle, he's sad for a day. Teach a man to cut his own dick off in a castle and he's sad for life? I don't know. Oh, also very funny, Ethan trying to get involved.
Hey, don't I get a say in this?
Silence!
However you feel about the final act of Resident Evil Village, I think we can all agree that the factory level was a little on the long side, considering that it all took place in a horrible factory when the level set in a beautiful castle with a tall vampire lady was over in about 90 minutes. Brilliantly though, Ethan feels the same way, and he spends a lot of the factory level complaining about how long it is, audibly groaning when he realises there's a whole other bit to go.
There's more?
And then voicing his despair when he gets knocked all the way back down to the bottom.
Damn it, again?
Ethan Winters is all of us. Of all the phrases you could use to describe gross fish monster Salvatore Moreau, the best probably isn't high on the list. Not when the phrase gross fish monster is available. Still, that's the phrase he uses to describe himself during the portion of the game when he's jumping around the place being a big gross fish monster. And honestly, it made me laugh out loud because you love to see that kind of self-confidence, regardless of the very obvious evidence to the contrary. Hell yeah, Moreau. You'll get me, I bet. I have faith in you. Last but by no means least, this incredible moment in which Lady Dimitrescu cordially finishes her phone call to Mother Miranda before hanging up and then just bodily yeeting her entire dressing table across the room.
I won't let you down. To hell with the ceremony!
Mondays, am I right? Those were our favourite funny moments from Resident Evil Village, but what tickled your funny bone as you played? Let us know in the comments, and like and subscribe for more Resident Evil Village coming soon to Outside Xbox. Thanks for watching.